it's me again. I'm here once again to show you a tutorial on how to make a puff stitch beanie, and this is for women. It fits from teens to adults, and I am going to use a size I 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and I am going to use a number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. And yeah, okay, if you are ready, let's begin. Okay, before we begin, I would like to say that I am going to use two color, red and black, two color combination for the hat. And if you're ready, let's make a magic ring. And then insert the hook into the ring, grab the yarn over, grab the yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then draw all loop at once, and then chain 1. Repeat, yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn. 2 4 6 7, and then let's draw all loop at once, and then chain 1. So make 6 of this in the ring. 1 2 3 4. Draw all loops at once, chain 1. 1 2 3 4. Draw all loop at once, chain 1. So I have 4. Make 2 more. 1 2 3 4. Draw all loops at once, chain 1. One more. 1 2 3 4. Draw all loops at once, chain 1. Now I have 2 4 6. I have 6 puff stitch inside the ring. Now we are going to close the ring. To close the ring, pull the tail tight, pull it tight. Okay, and then let's join it into the top of the first puff stitch. This is the first puff stitch. We are going to join it on top, and slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. Okay, now make a chain of 2, and then make a puff stitch. 1 2 3. The first chain of 2 is included as counted as the first draw. So we have 2 4 6 7, and then draw all loops at once, then chain 1. Let's make another puff stitch into the same space. 1 2 3 4. Draw all loops, chain 1, and then in each of the chain 1 spaces, this chain 1 spaces, make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 and between. So make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between. 2 3, 4, through all loops, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, through all loops, chain 1. Okay, continue this, two puff stitch in each chain 1 space, so we have the total of 12 puff stitch. Go ahead, finish your puff stitch, finish your round, and I will meet you for the joining. Okay, now I have 12 puff stitch in round 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 with chain 1 and between of each puff stitch. For the next round, we are going to join it with slip stitch on top of the first puff stitch, and then slip stitch into the next chain 1, and then chain 2, then make 2 puff stitch in the same space with chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3. If you notice in the beginning of the round, I always make 3 because the first chain 2 is counted as the first stitch. So now I have 2, 4, 6, 7. Then draw all loops together, chain 1, and then make one more puff stitch in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw all loops, chain 1, and then into the next chain 1 space make one puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. Into the next space make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw loops, chain 1, make one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw all loops, chain 1, and then into the next one make one puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw all loops, chain 1, and then into the next make another 2 with chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw all loops together, chain 1, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw all loops together, chain 1, and then into the next make one puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. Okay, to complete the round, make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between, puff stitch in the next chain 1 space, 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between, puff stitch, 2 puff stitch, puff oh my god, my tongue is twisted. Okay, go ahead and continue this with 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 with chain 1 in between of each puff stitch. Go ahead, finish your round, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, now I finished my round, so I have the total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I have 18 puff stitch with chain 1 in between in this round. So now for the next round, we are going to slip stitch into the top of the first puff stitch, and then slip stitch into the next space, Okay, now make a chain of 2 and make a 2 puff stitch in the same space with chain 1 in between. Three. Through all loops, chain 1 more in the same space. In the same space, make 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through all loops, chain 1. Into the next, make 1 puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through all loops, chain 1. Then make 1 puff stitch into the next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. This is how it looks now. And then for the next, make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through loops, chain 1. 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through all loops, chain 1. And then make 1 into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through all loops, chain 1. And then 1 into the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw all loops, chain 1. Okay, make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between, and then into the next 2 chain 1 spaces, make 1 puff stitch in each with chain 1, and then 2 puff stitch into the next, 1 puff stitch, chain 1, 1 puff stitch, 2 puff stitch. Go ahead and finish your round with 2 puff stitch, 1 puff stitch, 1 puff stitch, 2 puff stitch, 1 puff stitch, 1 puff stitch. Don't forget to make the chain 1 in between of each puff stitch. Go ahead and finish your round and I will meet you for the next. Okay, now I finished my round. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. I have 24 puff stitch with chain 1 in between for this round. And for the next round, let's join with slip stitch into the first puff stitch. Join it with slip stitch. And then slip stitch into the next space. Then chain 2. Into the same space, make 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. And then into the next 3 chain 1 spaces, make 1 puff stitch in each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll loops, chain 1, and then for the next space, 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll loops, chain 1 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, draw loops, chain 1. So 2 puff stitch, and then 1 puff stitch, 1 puff stitch, 1 puff stitch. Into the next chain 1 space, make 2 puff stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, draw all, chain 1, then make 1 more into the same space, make 1 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. Okay, now continue the round with 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between, and then for the next space 1 puff stitch, chain 1, next space 1 puff stitch, chain 1, next space 1 puff stitch, chain 1, and then next space 2 puff stitch with chain 1 in between, and then 1 puff stitch in each of the next 3 spaces with chain 1 in between. Continue this round, and I will meet you for the joining. Okay, now I finished my round. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. I have 30 puff stitch with chain 1 in between. So for this time, we are going to start for the body of the hat because we already done the increasing. And let's join it into the first puff stitch on top of the first puff stitch with slip stitch, and then slip stitch into the next chain 1, then make a chain of 2, 1, 2, 3, and then for the next space make 1 puff stitch, 3, 4, chain 1. For the next stitch make 1 puff stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, puff stitch into the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. Okay, finish this round with 1 puff stitch, chain 1, 1 puff stitch, chain 1, 1 puff stitch, chain 1. Continue this round and finish it, and then after you finish this round, make 6 more rounds of this, and then yeah, after you finish this round, make 6 more rounds, and then I will meet you for the brim. Okay, now I finished my round, and I have the total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 rounds from top to bottom, and then it has the measurement of 7 inches from top to bottom. And now I cut my yarn, and I'm going to start for the brim. But if you think that the hat is too short for your head, for your size, and then maybe you can make 2 more round of this last round that you made, 2 or 3 more round. It depends on how long the hat you want to be. And yeah, just add some more rounds if you wanted it a little bit longer. And now we're going to start for the brim with the black yarn. We are going to make a slip stitch into the joining, make a slip stitch into the joining space there, the place where we join the last the tail of the yarn, make a slip stitch, and then chain 1, single into the same stitch, and then single into the next space, single into the puff stitch, single into the next space, single on the puff stitch, single into the next stitch. Make a single stitch in each round. Go ahead, finish your single stitch around, and then I will meet you for the next. Make sure to start from the joining stitch and then single into the next space, single into the next, single into the next space, single into the next. Make it single in each stitch around, and then I will meet you for the next round. Okay, now I finished my single crochet round, and let's join it with slip stitch into the first single, then make a chain of 2, and then we are going to make half double crochet in each stitch around. Half double crochet, yarn over, half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet. Continue with the half double crochet around and each stitch. Go ahead, finish your half double crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you for the next round. Okay, now I finished my half double crochet round in each stitch, and now we are going to join with slip stitch into the first chain 2. Join it with slip stitch, and then into the same stitch as joining, let's make a front post single, and then chain 1. This is counted as front post half double crochet. Yeah, this is counted as front post half double crochet, and into the next stitch make back post half double crochet, and then front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet. Continue this round with front post half double crochet, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet. Continue this, finish this round, and I will meet you for the next round. Okay, now I finished my round, and let's join it on top of the chain 1. Join it with slip stitch, and in the same stitch as joining, let's make a 1 front post single, the same stitch as joining there, 1 front post single, and then chain 1, and into the next make a half double crochet back post, and then half double crochet front post, half double crochet back post, half double crochet front post, half double crochet back post, front post, back post, front pose, back pose. Continue this round with front pose, back pose, front pose, back pose of the half double crochet, and then I will meet you for the next round. Okay, now I finished my round. Let's join it into the chain 1 on top of the chain 1. Join with slip stitch, and into the same stitch, let's make a 1 front post single, and then chain 1, and then half double crochet back pose, same as the previous one, front pose, half double crochet back pose, half double crochet front pose. Continue this, and then continue this with half double crochet front pose, half double crochet back pose, same as the previous one, and then I will meet you for the next. Okay, I finished my round, and this is how it looks like, and it has the length of more than 8 inches, and then 18 inches in circumference. And you can, if you want, you can add some embellishment like flower, or you can put a button here or a tag. And yeah, it's a little bit thick, and it's perfect for the very cold winter. So here, okay, there's the hat, and I hope you enjoy joining me, and yeah, have fun making it, and stay safe everybody, and see you again next time. Bye bye.